Israel killed the political head of Hamas in an amazing attack within Iran. Hezbollah killed 12 children playing soccer, none of them Jews, so they denied that they did it. They only want to murder Jews. I mean, it's the world doesn't really care about Jews, to be honest. It's a fascinating thing. I don't have any paranoia, as you well know. But the world doesn't mean all individuals, but as an international community, the killing of Jews doesn't rank as particularly significant. And there's only one state on earth that is targeted for annihilation. That's the Jewish state. And the world is ganging up on the Jewish state, not on those who wish to destroy it. But nothing was more revealing than Hezbollah sends a bomb onto a soccer field, killing a dozen children, probably more, who won't survive. They happen to be Arab and not Jew. And so Hezbollah says, oh, we didn't do it, which is, of course, a manifest lie. Who did it? The only people who have that type of bomb from Iran is Hezbollah. But they only acknowledge that they killed Jews. And they're very proud of it. So Israel has retaliated. People say, oh, you shouldn't bomb. You should just kill their leaders. Well, it did. Killed one in Lebanon and killed another who was visiting from Qatar. A guy who's a billionaire. Lives in Qatar. And was visiting Iran. And they knew that. They knew where he was. And they killed him. It's a very wonderful thing that he's dead. Bret Stephens in the New York Times, the only real pro-Israel columnist of the, 50 or so columnists that they have. Israel is fighting 5 wars. The war against Hamas and its allies in Gaza and the West Bank, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and Iran itself. The second war, he writes, fuels and explains the first. It's about existence. Israel's most strident critics insist that the current conflict is about Palestinian existence, about Israel's alleged refusal to grant a Palestinian homeland. But that's a historically ignorant claim, and a dishonest one. Israel agreed to a Palestinian Authority in 1993, offered a Palestinian state in 2000, vacated the Gaza Strip in 2005. When campus protesters at Princeton chanted, "We don't want no 2 states. We want 48." That is 1948. They weren't asking for Israel to accept a Palestinian state. They were asking for Israel's abolition. Yeah, is that something? Students at Princeton in the year 2024 chanting for the extermination of a state. The third war is metaphysical. It's also dangerous and corrosive. It's Israel's war for the legitimacy of its actions, a war against the yes, but thinking that now describes the middle ground of Western opinion. That's not a demand that people turn off their brains when it comes to judging Israel's behavior. On the contrary, it's a request that they turn their brains on. To wit, how exactly do the people who say Israel has the right to defend itself propose that it do so? That's what I have asked from the beginning. Okay, you don't agree with the way Israel is conducting the war? What should Israel do? And that's what he writes. How exactly do these people propose that Israel defend itself against an enemy that entrenches itself beneath civilians in hundreds of miles of tunnels? What's their strategy for lawful urban warfare against an enemy that fights unlawfully from hospitals and mosques and homes? Despite their notional acceptance of Israel's right to self-defense, are they really calling for anything more than a unilateral ceasefire? Of course not. The least the yes but critics can do is recognize the fact that these questions have no easy answers. The fourth war is global, ideological, and fundamental. It's the war against anti-Semitism. Among the many toxic and defamatory charges leveled against Israel since October 7th is that the war in Gaza has caused a surge in anti-Semitism, a sly way of charging the Jewish state with being the agent of anti-Jewish hate. The truth is the opposite. Anti-Semitism is the cause of October 7th, not the consequence of it. When Bret Stephens writes on Israel and many issues, he is quite remarkable. It's really sad. It just happens to be. He's a never-Trumper. We have had dialogues on this, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't invalidate the brilliance of his writing on other matters. Anti-Semitism is the cause of October 7th, not the consequence of it. Mountains of documentation attest to this and predate the creation of the State of Israel. Haj Amin al-Husseini, the Mufti of Jerusalem, met Adolf Hitler in 1941 to avow their shared struggle against the English, the Jews, and the Communists. Today, it is no surprise to see those who cheer Hamas's aims are assaulting synagogues in Berlin or Los Angeles. Hatred of Jews will always find a convenient explanation or excuse. Israel is the latest, but hardly the first. And finally, there is the war within Israel and among the Jewish people worldwide. For the full episode of The Dennis Prager Show, go to pragertopia.com, sign up, and become a full member.